A young man, 50 years old, and I begged to give his heart to God. He said, I'll be back tomorrow night. I said, son, that's presumptuous sin. Today's the day of salvation. Now is the accepted time. The next afternoon, a deacon came by where I was staying, and we walked out in the yard. A little strip of a cloud came up. One bolt of lightning came out of that cloud. It is one of the most severe bolts of lightning I've ever seen. He just stood and danced like that. And it killed that boy in a watermelon patch plowing. Killed the mule, killed the boy. I could go on and on and on. I was holding a revival meeting, preached this sermon. When I gave the invitation, over 90% of all the people in the audience, the Christians, the backsliders, the sinners, over 90% of the people got up out of their seat. It's just like you dismissed them. But there was a man and a woman and a little girl on the fourth pew right here in this section. They didn't move. And I felt impressed to go speak to him. So I pushed my way through this crowd, stepped on the bench, stepped on the next one, over the next one, and I stopped right in front of the man and I said, sir, are you saved? He said, yes, I am, preacher. Then I said, ma'am, are you saved? She said, yes, I am. Then I turned to the little girl and I said, honey, are you saved? She said, no, sir. I said, how old are you? She said, I'm 14. I said, what is your name? She said, my name is Katie. I said, Katie, you're just a young lady, just 14 years old. Do you ever think about giving your heart to Jesus? Oh, she said, maybe sometime. I said, Katie, if somehow or another you could know that you'd be dead before midnight, would you let me pray for you? She folded her little arms across her chest like that and said, no, sir. Her dad started crying. He said, Katie, would you let me pray for you? No, Daddy, I don't want you to pray for me. Then the mother started crying and said, Katie, would you let me pray for you? No, Mama, I don't want you to pray for me. On their way home that night, they lived 3 miles out of this little town where I was holding a meeting on the left side of the highway. And the father said, I had my signal going, I was turning left, and my hand out, but 4 drunken men were coming up that highway, the police said, in excess of 90 miles an hour. The father said, I saw the lights, but he didn't realize they were coming so fast. And before he could turn left and get in his driveway, they struck him. That car rolled over 3 or 4 times. The mother was knocked out of the car. The father was knocked out of the car, just bruised up a little bit, but not seriously injured. Well, little Katie was wedged. They had struck that car right in the back, and little Katie was wedged in that car. And when it stopped rolling, it was upside down. And the man that told me about it, he said, Preacher, I was the second car to arrive on that busy highway. And he said, I want to tell you, because this little girl kept calling your name, I want to tell you what happened. He said, I guess maybe in 5 minutes there must have been 25 cars and maybe 50 people around. And he said the gasoline was gushing out of that tank and running down that highway. And he said this car went on, it hit him, went on about 100 yards and wrecked. And he said another gentleman and I got up in that back seat trying to get that little girl's legs free. She was hanging upside down in that car. He said we had been working with it about 5 minutes when I saw this flash. And I knew that somebody had set that gasoline on fire. One of those drunken men got out of the car, lit a cigarette, and threw the match down and fell in that gasoline. And he said, I turned to my friend that was on the other side, and I said, we've got about 5 or 10 seconds to get this little girl out of this car. He said, Preacher, I have never put forth such an effort. But he said, I looked, and I knew I had to abandon her. And I got out of that car. And he said, what I heard the next 30 seconds, I'll never forget. He said, that little girl began to scream, Daddy! Mother! Somebody get me out of this car, Daddy! Mother, I'm going to die. I'm going to go to hell, Mama. I wish I'd have let Preacher Smith pray for me. He said, Preacher, we had to hold that father and that mother. Said, I actually believed it and ran right into that fire. When he said that mother got as close as she could get to that car and said, Katie, can you hear me? Yes, Mama. Katie, you are going to die. We can't get you out, honey. You are going to die. Call on the Lord and ask Him to save you, honey. Ask Him to, Mama, Mama, I can't pray, Mama. I can't pray. I sat here a moment ago, and I wondered if there's some young person in this house. You got your name on some church roll, but you know way down deep in your heart that you've never really been born again. You've never really been saved. You were just sort of brought up in the church. One day you walked down the aisle, gave the preacher your hand, and they baptized you. But you never were born again. You never have become a new child, a new person. And I wondered, maybe before Sunday, will some young person in this house that's listening to me now sit there in a moment when I give this invitation, knowing that you're lost, knowing that you almost hate your father and mother, only come to church because you're going to serve a pizza, or because you want to meet a boyfriend or girlfriend. No real love for Jesus. And before Sunday, you'll stand before God. Will you stand before Him lost or saved? He said, preacher, that fire got inside that car. He said, if you've ever wrung a chicken's neck and then threw it on the ground, watched it flounder around in death, she began to frail her arms and scream. And people a mile away heard the screaming of that little girl as she died. And at this very moment, screaming still in the fires of hell. I want to beg you young folks up in that balcony, I want to beg you older folks, I want to beg every one of you here tonight that do not know that you are saved. If you absolutely do not have the Spirit of God witnessing with your spirit that you're a child of God, don't sit there. Walk down this aisle. And if you don't have a spiritual birthday, make this wonderful February 5th, 1992, as a wonderful day you were born into the family of God. There's some of you senior citizens sitting right here before me. You've been a church member all these years, and you know that away down in your heart you've never been born again. And the preacher has preached, and God has shown you. And I tell you, you've hardened your heart, stiffened your neck. Pride. You're ashamed to walk down and say that I've been a church member, I've been a deacon, I've been a Sunday school teacher, I've been a trustee, I've been a leader, and I never have been saved. I'm plastic. I've been a hypocrite. I've never really been saved. But that's what it's going to take if you are ever saved. He said, preacher, that little girl began to scream, I'm damned, Mama. I'm damned. My beloved pastor told me about when he was pastor of a little country church during the Great Recession and Depression.
Okay. Okay, question. If Jesus is not true, and this girl did not believe in Jesus and refused to get saved when she was dying, and we all know that a dying man's words are the generally tend to be true because they know why they're leaving. They're dying, so they want to tell the truth. If this girl truly did not believe in Jesus, how did she know she was about to go to hell if she did not believe in hell?